Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be streaming a little bit more mapping for the Map Labs Mega Mania challenge. Welcome in. It's currently May 2, 2026. Wow, it's May already. Time really flies away. But welcome. Greetings, Meneth. It's good to see you. Hi, Vizzies. Hi, Matt. Hi, Dorky. Hi, Queso. And welcome in, everybody. Hi, Meneth. Matt says, "How are you doing today?" I'm doing good. I'm feeling a little like I'm behind. I thought I had everything planned out for my day perfectly, and then I slept in a little bit late, and I'm a little behind on stuff I need to do. I'll probably have to wrap up stream a little bit earlier than usual today, like maybe around 5 p.m., something like that. But I wanted to map a little bit more on stream so you guys can see the progress on this challenge, and because I miss streaming as well. Bonjour. Hi, Dorky. Good to see you. So, this is Map Labs Mega Mania. For those who don't know, this challenge is to make a map that involves an especially large structure. It's a pretty broad category, but a megastructure could mean a structure that encapsulates a city, or a structure that's like stellar scale, like a Dyson sphere, or a Matryoshka brain, or a what's the other one? A ring world. Or it could just mean a very big structure. It's a pretty open-ended theme. My map is going to be about a teleporter puzzle involving a teleporter that shrinks you. It's basically the idea. So I wanted to show my progress since the last stream. This is the Raising the Bar Redux Volume 3 soundtrack. Let me just pause that a second. So I did a lot of mapping off stream, and I wanted to show what that looks like. Get in the map. It's still looking pretty rough. I'm very nervous about the timer on this Map Labs. I'm afraid that I am probably going to have to submit this as a bonus entry again, just like in the last challenge, because 8 days are remaining on the death clock up top of the stream, and that's not a lot of time to finish a map. So here's what I have so far. This is the lab. We're going to enter through a vent here. I want to have an introductory section of the map that's going to start from here, but that's a whole other story. That might be what we're working on today. I leave some head crabs in here. I was testing with smaller than normal head crabs, but those aren't supposed to be there. Yeah, ignore the head crabs, please. It's not about the result, it's about the journey. You're so right, Cheese Dreamer. Welcome in, Cheese Dreamer. Thank you. Yeah, I do get kind of caught up in the deadline when I'm working on a Map Labs, and sometimes I forget to enjoy the process. You know, that's what we're really here for. But yeah, entering the map on this side, we find this battery. We don't know what it's used for exactly. There's a hazard suit that we can't quite get to. This Ohm's Power Inc. Poster was made for Mechanophobia by 19T. So I just reused that. And what is this thing in the middle of the room? Some kind of apparatus. Don't know yet. But what's this? Let's see the magnifying glass. And here, a head crab. Wait, let me just move head crab. There's not supposed to be head crabs in this. Okay. What's the magnifying glass? Oh, that's weird. That looks like a smaller than normal gravity gun on that table. This scene doesn't work very well, but yeah, there's a tiny citizen on the mini teleporter. They're gonna have some kind of dialogue. I don't have any dialogue recorded for this yet. They're also facing away from me for some reason. Guy. You'll notice using map base 8, I have the player as a rebel in this map. I think that's kind of cool. That'll play into the intro. We're gonna take this battery. And if we plug the battery in, what's happening? Gone. What is going on with the light maps when that happens? Do you guys see that? Like this area got darker, and that's not supposed to happen. Like that's very confusing. Oh wait, no, it's when I turn. That's very weird. I've never seen anything like that before. We're gonna ignore that. So there's gonna be some dialogue. This character is gonna be called Dr. Zelensky, and Dr. Zelensky is going to tell me to put my weapons in the box. So that. Now we get a hazard suit. Cool, we have a hazard suit. The dialogue is going to really make this part, and I'm worried about having enough time to record it. I still don't know who exactly is going to record the voice lines for Dr. Zelensky. That's something that I need to work out. We went through the teleporter, and now we are on the mini teleporter. This is a little bit janky. I'm still working on the collisions. There's two different ways I can do collisions for this. I can either make a big brush that follows the prop in the real world, so to speak, at scale, or I can just have a scaled up version of the prop's collision mesh. But sometimes that doesn't work very well. So you'll notice a lot of bugs with this. Also, oh, I fell. And not looking so hot just yet. There's an invisible wall here that is part of the collision mesh of the prop. That's kind of annoying. It does work. Works badly. That was weird. Hi, Boom Donuts. Map looks like it's coming together now. Does it? I mean, visually it's looking better, but the mechanics are still very much being worked on right now. What is even happening with this ladder? So, we're gonna try that again. Just gonna try to shimmy around the invisible wall from the collision mesh. There we go. Okay. So using this teleporter, we can go back full scale, right? And Dr. Zelensky is going to power up the teleporter again. And now we can move these props around. Like I could, maybe I need a little ramp to get up here. I can use this book as a ramp. Do the clipboard. There. This puzzle mechanic is a little bit janky. I don't know how well this is gonna turn out, but what we're working with. Okay. Now I'm gonna try to go get the gravity gun. I feel like clip brushes will fix most of the collision problems. That is what I'm gonna end up doing. Although it's hard to get clip brushes for everything. Uh-oh. Dr. Zelensky is being attacked by head crabs. That one. AI. About the idea where you become big, you could also do that at the end. Yes. I could. I don't think that I will, just because of the timing. I thought about it, because that would be a good ending to the map. But I think that would almost need to be a separate map. That would be like a wrap-up kind of thing. I just got here, so I barely know anything, but visually I think it looks great. Oh, thanks, Boom Donuts. I appreciate that. I'm feeling a little bit uncertain about this so far. Okay. So, oh, okay, wait, that didn't really work. Okay. The doctor moved that PC out of the way. Now we can get to the gravity gun. It was only a little bit janky. We have our gravity gun. We're too small to use it on anything, though. We're just going to try to get back to that teleporter. Ignore that the battery is rendering through the rest of the world. Can fix that. So now we're back. Looks like the doctor was wounded by head crabs. So right now in dialogue, the doctor should tell us that we need to get into the teleporter to try to fix it. So we'll notice right away that there's some stuff that's blocking. I know you're hurt. There's some stuff that's blocking the teleporter, so we're just going to move that out of the way with our gravity gun. Okay. Now that we got all of the debris out of the teleporter, we can maybe try to get into the teleporter through here. Hey, Foxy Dude 2003, welcome. I'm working on a Map Labs entry. It's for Map Labs 21 Mega Mania, the mapping challenge for Half-Life 2. I'm gonna move this whole desk. What do you guys think about this puzzle? Because like this puzzle made a lot of sense in my head, but when I'm actually executing it, it feels really janky. I don't know if anyone is gonna actually enjoy this. Need to make like a ramp or something. Looking good so far. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's still very rough. Too thick. We're in a very rough state. And so after I demonstrate the map here, I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to work on today. I think I'm either going to work on the intro or the outro, actually. I don't think I'll be working on the main puzzle mechanic this time. I still need like an ending for the map. If nothing else, it seems it's going to be very different. That's what I'm going for, so I appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and drink ourselves. The collision mesh on this prop is really weird. I am going to have to replace it with clip brushes because there's all these invisible walls that I don't want. Book fell down. I think I can still use it to get up here. Okay. We're in. Something should happen when you get here. You know? Kind of event. Something cool. I don't know what that would be. When you get into the teleporter, it's going to seal these little gates behind you and transition you to a new map. And I did that so that I don't have to continue the whole map with that the player is actually in a copy of the map gimmick. I want you to be able to just walk around normally in this part. I think this is what I want to work on today. I want to have some puzzles inside the teleporter here. I was also experimenting with head crabs. I wanted the player to have to fight some giant head crabs. So let me just try this a second. Giant enemy head crab. Exactly. You get it. Yeah, so we'd have something like that where that works surprisingly well for all that is a model that's scaled up. And in this map, we could give the fast head crabs more HP and stuff too. I kind of dig it. I also made the fast head crabs. I gave them a small variant because this is not to scale with how small the player is. The small version, I was thinking the player could maybe fight swarms of these earlier in the map, and then that would like foreshadow this part. I think it makes sense. Maybe there will be like a ladder here, and then the player can climb up the different levels of this teleporter and then solve some kind of puzzle. I was thinking for the puzzle, it should either be like a plug-in socket puzzle, like in Half-Life 2, or fuses. Fuses would make sense because the fuses could be larger than the player. I know it's really basic, but I'm kind of just trying to keep it simple because we're running short on time. It's like those Gmod maps which make you super small in a person's home. Exactly. That's what I was kind of inspired by. I've heard someone on the Map Labs Discord call those kinds of maps rat maps, and I really like that. I played your Mechanophobia entry back in Halloween last year. I really like the Portal 1 soundtrack. It suits well with it. Thank you. I was thinking of doing something similar for this map. If not the Portal 1 soundtrack, it'll probably be like some of the tracks from Kleiner's Lab in Half-Life 2. Like that track that plays when you first see the teleporter. I want to use that. So I appreciate that. This is also inside of the machine. There'd be no real need for lights inside, so keeping it dark would be somewhat fine. That's a good point. I'm gonna probably have some lights on, just so that the player can see, but I can have some dark crawl spaces for the head crabs and things. That would make a lot of sense. Hi, Dan Scart. Welcome. It's good to see you. Dan the goat, exactly. What do you guys think I should do today? Like I'm struggling because it's like there's a lot. Like I could try to focus on fixing the collision problems on the table. I could try to improve the puzzles. I could work on scripting for Dr. Zelinsky, or I could work on the two things that I kind of want to focus on is I either want to do the inside of the teleporter today, or I want to do the beginning part of the map, actually. Because what I want to do is actually have some pretty normal gameplay leading up to this room where you're just going through a pretty basic environment and then you come into this place. And so I want to have like a switch up where the gameplay feels normal at the beginning and then you discover the teleporter and then things get weird. Because if the map starts here, then it's not really weird because the whole map is that, you know what I mean? There's no contrast. I think I've worked this out. So mechanophobia is a fear of machinery or mechanical objects. Yes, yeah, mechanophobia is a fear of like heavy machinery. I don't know if that should be a phobia. I think that's actually a pretty rational fear. You should be afraid of heavy machinery if you work in like a warehouse or a factory. This is looking really promising and cool. Thanks, Matt. It means a lot to hear you say that because I'm like, I'm struggling, guys. This looks good for like day like if there were 20 days left on the clock and this is what I had, I would feel awesome. I'd be like, I've got this. This is going to be the best map I've ever made. But I'm looking at the countdown timer and it's like, there's 8 days. What am I going to do in 8 days, guys? Like this is a problem. It's tough. I'm going to full screen the death clock here. Yeah. We're running down the clock pretty quickly. You're cooking. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. So, speaking of cooking, let's look at the outro part. I'll turn on the Raising the Bar Redux soundtrack again. Oh, and I forgot to turn on Twitch integrated throwing system. I always do that. Crunch time, yeah. The problem with crunch time is that I can't crunch on it. Like I have other obligations and plans. Like I kind of wish I could have crunch time. I wish I could have like a week off to just do nothing but this. Wouldn't that be fun? But I've got work next week. I have like family plans and things that are gonna get in the way. Thanks, Vizzies. Appreciate the one up mushroom. Let's take a look at the ending part. So all I have is I just scaled up the teleporter itself. Pretty simple. But that gives us a little bit of a template to work with. Because I want to have the player is going to start right here. Right? Start somewhere around here. And you're going to climb up through one of these passageways. There will be multiple levels to it. I don't think you'll go all the way to the top. I also can break the geometry. I don't need it to be continuous with the other map. So I can, for example, extend out past the walls, and I don't think anyone will notice. We can do a little bit of a TARDIS thing and say it's bigger on the inside. Because I don't think players will know if it's bigger on the inside. That you'll get confused when you get to this part. You won't really think about the outside of the shape. That's my opinion. Let me look for some props that I can use in this section before we start building anything. The geometry in here is really weird because it's something that started really small and then I scaled it up. But if I look at like the fuse props, that is. Half-Life 2 Episode 1 had fuses, right? Like, what were those called? I thought Half-Life 2 Episode 1 had fuses. If it wasn't called a fuse, what would it be? Like, I'm drawing a blank right now. What would those things be called? They were like little cylinders, like glass tubes. Resistor things on power lines? No. I thought that Half-Life 2 Episode 1 had a puzzle where you had to find... I'm getting mixed up with Nightmare House, aren't I? I'm thinking of Nightmare House 2, where you have to pick up the fuses off of the floor and put them in. I thought that was from Half-Life 2 Episode 1. Clearly, I am not a real fan. If you use darkness and turns properly, you can throw people's sense of direction off. That's a really good point, Meneth. Yeah, fake fan. Those are Nightmare House 2 only. I could have sworn those were in one of the episodes. No, I'm wrong. Okay. We don't have fuses to work with. What do we have instead? Thinking of maybe just using this. Yeah, something like, say it's unplugged. I know it's so lame. Like, this is the puzzle that you're solving, but it is kind of, it's something they even lampshade in Half-Life 2 itself a little bit. Like, you know, that MIT education sure is being put to good use. 60 times scale, that's too big. I might have to do like 8 times scale. 8 times, that's still too big. 4 times scale, we're really just winging it at this point. But yeah, I think the gravity gun can lift that. That seems a little bit ridiculous to me. I think that's what we're working with today. Oh, this is a physics prop. One is. Oh, this one's scaled smaller too. Interesting. We just quick recompile this map. Boom Donut says, I'm going to have to go for now. Oops, let me read on this screen. I'm going to have to go for now since I've got some errands to run. Good luck on the mapping process. Excited to see how it turns out. Thanks, Boom Donuts. I appreciate the support. I hope your errands go well. Hope you have a successful trip. Try models props lab slash something .mdl. I'm sorry, Vizzies. Oh, Rotato. Let me look at the Rotato. By the way, I'm checking to see if I missed any YouTube messages because I've only been reading Twitch. I just realized. Oh, Foxy Dude talked on YouTube first. I'm sorry. I missed your YouTube messages. That's my bad. I forgot how to do restream for a minute there. I was only looking at Twitch and not at YouTube. So we just test out. What does it feel like to use the gravity gun on this thing in an enclosed space? Bad. It feels bad. Okay. What? Why is it like that? It's like when I pick it up, it's like there's a force coming from another plug. It wants to go. Like if I, really weird. I can just stick to Twitch chat. Oh yeah, for sure. Twitch or YouTube are fine. I should be responding to both of them. Instead of a model, you could use a brush. Yes, I can. In fact, that might be a good way to fix the physics. Just to use a fizz box for the physics and then have the model. I want to have the model because I want to have recognizable objects at scale. Like, this is the plug from Half-Life 2. I want to use that so that people recognize that, oh, this is larger than it's supposed to be. Let me look at what the Rotato looks like. Rotato? No, it's this Rotato. That's a good Rotato. It's funny that the Rotato thing never took off as a meme. Because, like, you can tell that Valve must have thought it was really funny because it shows up all throughout Half-Life 2, but no one's ever talked about it. Whereas, like, The Cake is a Lie really took off in Portal. You could make a fuse from brushes. I could. I'm worried that it wouldn't look very good. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing, but I just want it to be recognizable, I want it to look like something the player will know what it is. I'm pretty sold on using these incubator plugs, but I might use a fizz box for the physics, and then only the prop will only be for looks. Prop dynamic. As I was saying, I like how you got an honorable mention for your entry in Toon 3 Encore. I'm happy for you. Thanks. I appreciate it. That means a lot, and I really enjoyed entering that challenge. By the way, Foxy dude, are you an entrant in Map Labs as well? Getting the impression that maybe you are, and I feel like I should recognize your name. Looking at Map Labs. You have a different name on Map Labs? No, but I do enjoy playing the entries on each new competition. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that people follow Map Labs, because sometimes I feel like it flies under the radar a little bit. I don't feel like it's as widely celebrated as Run Think Shoot Live used to be. That might just be my perception, but sometimes I feel like Discord has kind of like siloed people off, So I like to see people who enjoy playing Map Labs and commenting on them. Like, that's really nice. Map Labs is quite popular. That's good. Yeah, it's probably a case of my perception being off about that. I'm glad Map Labs is popular because I really enjoy it. This track is called Subaqueous Haven from Raising the Bar Redux Volume 3, the soundtrack Volume 3. I don't remember this playing in Raising the Bar Redux. It sounds awesome. Really got that, the ambient feeling. Nostalgic for me. Reminds me of some older stuff. Don't hear it? Oh no, this whole time I've had my audio muted. I'm sorry, guys. That was a stream fail. You haven't been able to hear the music this whole time. It's just been me talking. That sounds awful. Sorry. How complicated do I want to make this rush? Always the question. I probably will simplify quite a bit just to make the collisions simple. I want it to be mostly box shaped. Remember before Map Labs was introduced that Run Think Shoot Live did competitions? Yes. Yeah, that to me that was like the golden age of challenges. Even though I think my perception is a little bit warped. I think objectively like Map Labs is actually getting more engagement in terms of like people entering than Run Think Shoot Live did. And also they have better tools. Like Map Labs, you see all kinds of innovation that you wouldn't have seen in Run Think Shoot Live because it's based on map base, and we have all these tools for custom content and custom characters, NPCs, weapons, etc. that wasn't possible in Run. I remember with Run Think Shoot Live, it's basically like vanilla Half-Life 2. So like there's all kinds of stuff that we can do now that we couldn't do back then. But when I was making maps, I always liked kind of trying to push the envelope or do things a little bit differently from the base game. Just something that I really enjoy. I remember. Dizzy's, were you a Run Think Shoot Live fan? Remember Mecha Head Crab? I miss Mecha Head Crabs. I wish that the custom NPCs from Run Think Shoot Live were added to Map Base or Map Labs, or Map Base, I guess. But yeah, I wish they were added to Map Labs because I have some old maps on Run Think Shoot Live that use those custom features that were really cool that kind of faded into obscurity. Map Base now is a thing where you can implement custom view models. Yes, that's absolutely true. In fact, I'm using it on this map. Because in this map, you actually have weapons before you get the hazard suit. So before you get the hazard suit, you'll have like a rebel view model. And then after you get the hazard suit, you'll put on the hazard suit. That's something we could never do with vanilla Half-Life 2. Why does this sound like SCP Containment Breach? This is called Their Reactions from Raising the Bar Redux Volume 3 soundtrack. They should bring back the freeze gravity gun. Yes, that was one of my favorite features, actually. I used it in a few maps that in ways that I was really proud of. This box. Plug box. I'm probably only going to have one of these plugs because I don't want to make it too complicated. This box. I'm trying to remember how mass scale. How do you set the mass on a fizz box? I haven't used a fizz box in a little bit. Probably do that and that. Does it just automatically determine the mass of a fizz box? Been a hot minute. File this. Megaphobia. Yeah, I'm thinking the name of this map could be Microcosm. It's the name that comes to mind, but I want a more clever name. I've also been thinking about this guy Wayland. That sounds familiar to me, but I'm drawing a blank. He used to host competitions for Map Labs. Yeah, wasn't he one of the big four, maybe? Clearly, I didn't do that right. Update small. Try that one. That was Raising the Bar Redux Volume 3 soundtrack. I'm going to do Volume 2. Override parameters. Ooh, check that. Sometimes Map Labs does competitions for other Source Engine games like Gary's Mod, TF2, and all that, but it's primarily for Half-Life 2. I've never really been super interested in the other games they hosted challenges for. Override parameters. Oh, here. Yeah, okay, thanks, Vizzies. Mass 10. Ooh, okay, that's smart. Okay. No, you got this. You saved this. You changed the mass scale. That was really smart. Oh, there we go. There, that's perfect. That's what we want. A little bit too light. Yeah, it kind of floats to the ground because I set it to be very low mass. I need like mass 100 or something. Is normal? Try it. I'm gonna go to 80. I think 80 is supposed to be the weight of a person, right? Not mistaken. This feels about right. So basically our puzzle is just going to be plugging this into a socket and the other end will be already connected to the wall. I'm having too much fun. Wait, let's make a head crab. I waste so much time when I'm mapping, just like imagine if there's an entry called megalophobia, fear of large objects. That would be another good one. It's really similar to this challenge. I think this challenge almost works for the same theme, because you could make a map like that. Model. Yeah, I should have the head crabs spawn in the same room as this. You can use this to kill the head crabs. As well as other oversized objects. I think that'd be fun. Okay. Now I have the gist of my puzzle. How am I gonna connect everything up together? Giant enemy snark. I did think about that. I don't know if I want to mess with snarks because I'd have to use the model from Half-Life Source, and it's probably not very high definition, you know? Half-Life Alyx model jump scare to confuse the art style of the map. I think the Half-Life Alyx model would look excellent in this context. It's just that the problem is sorry, I lost my train of thought a second there. Oh, I can't do that. Wait, I made a mistake. Made a mistake. Okay, there we go. The problem is converting it to Source 1 style with the animations and everything. That's where it would be a challenge. That's wide enough for the player to fit through. Yeah, it is. It is. My sense of scale is all wonky now. A narrow passageway. I was thinking about putting the ladders here, but I actually want the player to kind of like wander in this area. Did you do anything with the antlion guard idea? No, I haven't yet. I might still do that. In Mechanophobia, I knew it was you who voiced the companion NPC. You did? How did you know it was me? Your voice acting isn't that bad. Oh, thank you. It was only intended to get the job done. So I appreciate that. I wasn't super confident in it, but I also wasn't super worried because I just wanted something that worked, in the moment. Um Now what? I did not plan this out well enough. I'm like, what am I doing? The goal here. What's my motivation? We have two sides. This should be a dead end, probably. Um, I don't want to do it on two different sides of the thing. There should be a light on this end that draws you over here. Um, and I have this whole space to work with. I want somehow for the player to go up one floor. Oh, maybe I should have it open on both sides, and then you could have two separate plugs, one on each side. That'd be too confusing. I don't know. The cringe feeling of hearing your own voice, even though if it's not bad, you still feel it. Yeah, I think I'm pretty immune to that now. I've gotten used to it, but there is still a jarring feeling sometimes. Like it's never gonna sound good to me. I kind of made peace with that. Do a big one on one side, two smaller on the other. That unlocks the next floor up. Yeah, like the plugs. Then how do you get to the next floor is the next question. I want to keep it pretty linear because I just want to keep it simple, but I don't know. I'm torn because like it could be like you're saying like one on like two on one side, one on the other, or something like that. I think I just want this to mostly be a corridor with a ladder at the end, like build up the suspense. It's easy for me to make, right? And it's like Meneth said, like it should be pretty dark. Ooh, that could actually be cool if I make this more of like a horror type of thing where it's like a really dark, narrow passageway with a light at the end. Okay, it's easy to make and it's going to build suspense. We're going with that idea. It keeps the feeling of like claustrophobia. Be something that happens though. It can't really just be literally just walking down. Maybe it can. Maybe it can for this floor, actually. Use different elevations if you make the floor different heights. Ooh, what do you mean by making the floor different heights? That's kind of be a long ladder. Wow. You're using slopes or blocks that go up and down. Yeah, okay. I get what you're saying about slopes. Ooh, I like the slope idea, actually. That's going to help. So there will be a ladder or something like a ladder. Now, it shouldn't be an actual ladder because there wouldn't be ladders in this because it's not for tiny people. It's like just a normal like passageway. But I'm thinking maybe like a pipe or a rope or something that I will make into a ladder, like maybe a cable, like cable, kind of like that. No, getting farther away. Oh, this is kind of what we were looking at earlier. You can use the color palette of lights used for the teleporter and play with the dark a lot. I like that idea, although I did kind of mess up the color palette a little bit. Like I'm not using the same colors as the Half-Life 2 teleporter. what is something that could be used as a ladder by someone at 1/16th scale that isn't a ladder? What I'm kind of looking for. To get more unique. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Gotta be something. I saw people recreating Half-Life Alyx NPCs into source-style textures. I'm interested to see what that would look like, because the materials are a lot different in Half-Life Alyx. I'm thinking of maybe like the player climbs up this, but how would you know that it's climbable? That doesn't look like something you can climb. I'm really looking for something that looks more like a ladder, but what looks like a ladder but isn't a ladder? Now I'm working in riddles. Looks like a ladder but isn't a ladder. I feel like all I can think of is like wires, but there aren't any good props for that. Hi Bogey, welcome. Uh, Bogey, I have a riddle. What looks like a ladder but isn't a ladder? The booger has joined. Struggling with this one. Maybe if let me just look through props lab and see if I find anything good. You have something blocking the way. Whatever. A rope. Yeah. Okay, so a rope. So what's something that would be like a rope if you were at 1/16th scale? I think I know. I think I have an idea actually. Maybe. What if we added climbable ropes in this map? Cables and piping. Comically small stairs. Okay, I have an idea. Gentlemen, I may not have a brain, but I have an idea. Maybe this, actually, honestly. Raising the bars music sounds relaxing and more ambient if that's what's playing in the background. It is. And I forget about most of these tracks, honestly. Elevator. Oh, but like what's like an elevator if you are in a computer? Okay, so we're going with climbable ropes. So first things first. Okay. Then I have this idea of a slope code. I like the slope. I think I want to do the slope. Oh wait. Will make sense. Will all make sense eventually. So I don't know if this will all make sense eventually. Ooh. Because if I angle this corridor, then like the whole wall is going to be... We'll worry about that later. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So... do UV lock. Thanks, Hammer++. Makes this possible. And I'm just going to drag this up. That didn't work because... Okay, wait. Gotta make a cut on the brush right here. Okay. We're cooking. I can actually delete these, I think. We're cooking. Okay, so I'm going to drag this up. Ooh, it didn't lock the textures. Okay, wait, hold on. Let me try that again. I have texture lock, texture scaling lock, and UV lock on. UV lock not work? Why didn't UV lock work? I thought UV lock was supposed to make it move the face, basically. Maybe I needed to do it like this. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Got this. Kind of. Seemed like it quite did what I wanted it to. It's close enough. So if I like that, kind of what we're looking for here. The slope goes up like that. Then have to cut it off up here. The dreaded math. I know this is where I flounder with mapping. I like these textures with wires. I think they're from Portal, right? I'm mistaken about that. Are they from Half-Life 2? I want to say it's a Portal texture. Okay, that didn't really work. I'm just gonna delete these and start over. Okay. That looks alright. Could be better, could be worse. I just realized that I didn't scale these properly. The that I mean, not exactly better because it's kind of bad actually, but this is the scale that I was going for. I don't know, the stretchiness of the textures might make this just look like gibberish. I should just go back to them being scaled down. Might be more convincing. And I'll make a border around here. Make it less, make it more seamless. Good metal texture. Want something like, the very flat generic metal texture that I use sometimes. This one. This is what I'm thinking. Okay. We're getting somewhere, guys. I think the claustrophobia will really help here. Selling the illusion that you're trying to squeeze into a piece of machinery. Like, it's like mechanophobia, right? Whoa, full circle. That's what I. That's okay. Now we have the slope, and at the top, should have had it plateau a little bit. Right about here. Flat surface, and then our ladder will be a dangling wire. I'm a little bit nervous about because the like rope mechanics are not typical. I think on the scaled wire textures, you can make the brush boxes stick out of the wall, like was suggested. Um, yeah, like the bands on the texture, like the metal parts. The lighting would play against that. I know exactly what you mean. That's a good idea. Okay. Okay. I think this is working. I like that there's not a whole lot of mechanical complexity on this floor. We can save the puzzles for the next floor, and that will give more of the sense of like the sense of like an ascent. You know, you're climbing the tower. Do it for regular scale texture. Yeah, I will look into that next. Ooh, that came out a lot worse than I thought it would. So much of this is off grid because it was scaled up. The grid. Worry about that later. I think the wires should go vertical here. There we go. Not gonna line up no matter what I do. Oh well. be cool if I also had some props sticking out of the walls for like different pieces of machinery, like different connections or chips or cards or whatever there might be in this little conduit that we have for wiring. It would work as a light source in here, you know? There was a prop that we looked at earlier that I thought would work well for this. This is what I was thinking of. Wait, it could actually work really well. It won't quite fit in that space, but maybe part of it will. Rotate it. Fit. This should just be like a red light as well. That will work really well. There's red lights on the outside of the teleporter. Take like this. Right. That could be interesting. Yeah, I'm interested in this. It's gonna be really cool. I can't scale prop statics. Set the shadows to disable. Map looks good so far. Thanks, Bogey. The idea of this map is that the mega structure is actually a teleporter you're trying to fix, and you're going to shrink yourself to fit into the teleporter. Gotta encapsulate that prop. Doesn't leak. That's spooky. Excited to see how it looks in the end. Me too. I'm a little worried at this point. Can't really see any details on that prop. Maybe I need to set the lighting origin to be like between the light and the light source. And I'll need to make like a ladder here that you can climb up. I think this will work really well. It's like an intermediate step in the map. Are lighting origins only for static props? Be only for static prop. No, it's not. Okay. Prop. Lighting origin is that. I think what I'm going to do next is actually just copy this whole floor up to the next level. Oh. Could swap from blinking red. Ooh, blinking red is a good idea. Fix green when you solve it. Oh yeah, if we come back this way, but I think I have a different idea in mind for what we're gonna do once you solve this part of the puzzle. Ooh. Just realized this is all one kind of continuous piece. If I copy this, it's gonna copy everything. Uh-oh. Okay, so for starters, group everything together. I'm going to cut it. Okay. Should be where this part connects. Yep, okay. Also gonna cut the bottom part. No, I don't need to cut the bottom part. I just need to select the floor. I'm having problems with the custom player model, which crashes the game the moment the map gets started. Something with the bones in the QC file. Ooh, problems with models like that cause crashes are really frustrating. I've had similar things before. There's not much I can recommend other than to like just keep testing with it, see what you can remove from the QC file and compile that doesn't cause the problem. Oh, that's not super helpful, but I'm gonna ask in the server later, but I guess I'll probably work on map first and then assets later. That's a good way to do it. You know, don't get caught up on one thing that's holding you back. Yeah, asking the server is probably the best bet. I would also just try to get as much data as you can in terms of like removing different parts of the QC file and then seeing like how did that affect it? I think this right? Didn't turn texture lock on, but I think even without texture lock it scaled appropriately. It's pretty good. Now for that able that we talked about. It's gonna be rough. Because I think the way that opposing force did it is that they made the rope in segments, and each individual segment was a ladder. Am I right about that? I don't know if that's what we want to do for this, or if that's too complicated. I think we probably just want the rope to be taut. I know it won't look as good. Wire. Tape. VMT is right. Cable. We want this texture actually. Rope. Is there a suit model with texture fixed in map base? Surprisingly, I don't think there is. I think you still need to manually fix the HEV suit, which that seems like an oversight. Like, why is there even the broken model in the first place? I'll have to make a for my map. I'll be making a copy. I want to give the player a red HEV suit or a different color HEV suit. I just think that would be fun, but not sure if I'll get around to that. Wire. One. Climbing wire. I think in the beginning part of this map, I'll have to have the player use a rope to climb so that you know that that's a mechanic that you can use. You'll have like a spark at the end, but then you'll think that it's... No, I can't have a spark at the end, because then you will think that it's not interactable. Also have like a little prop here. What prop would that be? Okay, look up power. One of the little power boxes is probably good for this. Might be a little bit too big. Maybe if I rotate it, I can fit it in there. We're still listening to the Raising the Bar Redux soundtrack. This is from Volume 1, and this track is called Vector Error. I kind of like how that looks. Now, lately, I've been a big fan of brush-based ladders. I know I got some feedback not to use brush-based ladders in Mechanophobia, I think they have some issues, but I, I'm still gonna use brush-based ladders. I'm sorry, it's just so convenient. The other style of ladder is so hard to set up. Let's try this out. Oh, we leaked. Where did we leak? This is just open. Oh, and what was I thinking? Oh, it's because of I see. It's because I deleted some geometry here. Gotcha. Big deal. I'll try out this ladder. Ooh, that's spooky. Stuck. Good. Go ahead and disable collisions on this thing. There's a couple problems here. For one, prop is in the other prop is also colliding. What do we want for the soundtrack next? Running out of mod soundtracks to use. We'll put on the Gregulation soundtrack is probably too scary, too like horror sounding for the stream. We want something kind of relaxing. Listen to the Gregulation soundtrack. That's okay. It fits. I don't like how hard it is to see that. Like, I'll probably have to draw some more light over here so that the player. Ooh, I think the rope is just too far outward, blocking me. Fix that. Half-Life ladders strike again. I need this light to be a little bit brighter, or maybe more light at the end of the corridor. And maybe this is where I can have the plug puzzle. I can fit the plug in this space. I could have, like, you have to plug it in right here. And you can continue going the other way. I think that would make sense. I think that's what I want to see. Could fit the dark segment. Yeah, I just want to make sure that the player knows where to go. That's the only problem. Light is too big. Might have to scale some things so that they're not exactly to scale, which kind of defeats the purpose. But, you know, not gonna be perfect. If that was perfectly to scale, it would block you from even there in the first place. I think I'm just gonna do half scale. You know, small lamps. But like, what do I use for a diode? Also, I'm not sure if they really were a thing in the 2000s, in like the 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. Certainly in the 2000s, but like late 90s, like I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, they would have been. Not as common as now. Spooky. Feels like nerd in here. Hi, Tekarash. Welcome. I'm making a very unusual Map Labs map, and I'm not sure how well it's going to turn out, but we're trying something a little bit different this time. Who engineered this thing to have a plug like in the middle of it that no one can access? I did, clearly, but you know what I mean. Giant enemy brush boxes, exactly. That should be the name of my map. Eh. I don't like how that looks. Not a big fan. Not a fan of that either. My texture alignment here is just going nuts. Like, I'm gonna worry about that in a little bit. So like, the socket is gonna go here. There's almost no cable in between these two. Like it'll be very limited actual cabling. Maybe I can bring these in a little bit to make a little bit more space, but it's gonna look silly. I don't think there's any way to avoid it looking silly. Incubator plug is what this is called. Zen 2 looking fire. I miss making Map Labs entries. Yeah. Map Labs is great. This theme is awesome. I'm worried that I tried to do something a little bit different for this theme and maybe it's not going to turn out. But, you know, that's kind of the point of Map Labs. It's like experimentation. Doing something weird. Kind of different. You look into a PC, sometimes you have super short connectors. That is true. Yeah. I don't like the super short connectors. I'm gonna start putting in the sockets. All those. Plug holder. All the sockets holders. Okay. We're listening to the Gragulation soundtrack. This one is called Flesh Walks Forward. This prop I'm gonna have to use in a minute. Not yet, but soon. I'm looking for props with holder in the name, and I love how F-18 placeholder from Left 4 Dead 2 is one of the props that popped up. Funny. Okay, I'm gonna take a little detour. I just really want to put this prop in the main map. Hold on. We're cooking. Like right here. That just needs to be in the map. It's from Left 4 Dead. Anyways. Okay, I think that's to scale. Looks to scale, but it's weird that this is scaled 8 times and this is scaled 16 times. Maybe I should, okay, maybe I should do this differently. Maybe I should do one of these. We're gonna be able to walk past that. Not really easily. My idea would be set this into the wall. Have one on the other side. Maybe if I brought these columns inward, enough space for it. Maybe, okay, maybe I can play with the geometry a little bit and actually bring this out, even though it physically wouldn't fit in the space. Like we said earlier, it's the TARDIS. It's larger on the inside. gonna this out. Are you doing a thing where you get shrinked when you are already shrunked? No, this is gonna be when you're inside the teleporter. So I'm trying to do just a basic puzzle when you crawl into the teleporter, and you're gonna have to like connect a broken connection or something. So I'm just trying to fit these teleporter plugs inside the teleporter, which is a bit goofy, admittedly. This whole map is a little weird. Barely fit these in. You're inside a machine, connectors can go into the ceiling and the floor. That's a good point. But I want players to know that they have to like connect these up. Oh, what have I done? Wait, no, that makes sense. Wait, because we basically will want only one of these to be using a plug. No, this will never work. They're basically touching already. Do I want to continue this, or should I change up my approach here? It'd be cool if there's sort of a dark energy beam inside. Yeah, lasers or beams are something that have been brought up already. I think got to be some kind of laser and some kind of beam at some point. We'll get there. Vertical gameplay. Yeah, I can see it. I haven't done a lot with verticality yet. That is about the space that I would need. Okay. So this one over here. Just fit it back into the socket. I'm happy with this. This is gonna look good. I wonder if there's a way that I can make sure that the layer of detail never comes into effect with the giant dark energy ball. That's actually a really good idea. This isn't meant to be combine construction, but it's probably using some combine technology, so we can excuse that. I think the layer of details are going to mess this up. Rebels do use Combine tech. Yeah, like this is definitely built on stuff that they stole from the Combine, so I can see it for sure. You're right about that. I'm gonna go get some tea and then work on my own entry for a while. I'm a bit behind. You making good progress? Yeah, I would say I'm making progress. I'm a little worried about the deadline. I'm gonna be honest. There's 8 days remaining, and right now I'm still just kind of spitballing the puzzle at the end and the conclusion. So I'm behind. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it on time, and I'm a little nervous. But I'm just trying to kind of play it cool and see what I can come up with. And if it has to be a bonus entry, it has to be a bonus entry. I am curious, Beef Bacon, to hear a little bit more about your entry. I'm sure you're probably cooking up something really, really exciting. And I can't wait to hear about it. Wondering how I want to handle this. Because usually when you do a plug-in socket puzzle, it's not the scale, you know? Like, do fizz boxes even interact with triggers? I guess I'm going to find out. Been so long. Yeah, they have to, right? Because Wilson used to be a fizz box. Unless we only had Wilson interact with triggers after we made him an NPC. Once subjects, goals, everything. I'm gonna make a filter for target name. Activator name. Filter plug fizzbox. Oh wait. Plug fizzbox. Filter plug fizzbox. I have an idea. I want to have the lighting in here change color when you plug this in from red to green. I think somebody mentioned that earlier in chat. Doing the combat, for the most part, it flows pretty well, and it's cool figuring out how to make fun encounters with the NPCs I've tweaked. I'm really excited to see what your NPCs are. That was like, I think that was one of the things that stood out the most about Outbreak. Although, everything stood out about Outbreak. What am I saying? But I'm really curious to see what NPCs you've cooked up this time. What other soundtracks do you guys think would be good? I'm going to go back to the RTBR soundtrack because I was just enjoying that so much earlier. This is volume 2 again. This plug isn't showing up. Wire, I should say. Camera Plus Plus is supposed to have like a rope preview, right? Tried to keep each weapon and enemy its own niche while keeping the player movement in mind as well. Most ranged enemies use projectile weapons. That sounds like fun. I'm really looking forward to your map. Doesn't always hit the mark, but it's interesting so far. I don't know if my map hits the mark, but I'm happy to be experimenting. Do you think you'll get it done by the deadline, or are you going for a bonus map? That's something I'm struggling with right now. I want to submit by the deadline. I just don't know if it's realistic. It'll be a bonus. That's probably smart. You know, give yourself a little extra time. If not a wrap up. Hopefully it doesn't have to be a wrap up, although I would totally understand it. I've never actually done a wrap up, I don't think. I want a smaller light for this room. Something. I know what I want. Wait. Deleted it. Never mind. I want the other cage light model. A wrap up map? One of the themes that Map Labs has done a few times in the past is called the wrap up. And for the wrap up, the theme is to take a map that you never finished and wrap it up. So you can also remake a map that you've already made, I think, or like make a sequel or wrap up somebody else's map. I think it's pretty flexible. But the idea is to give entrants a chance to go back to their old maps. Changing my mind about this. I don't like this. I want a smaller light prop. Or one that would look normal being smaller. Yeah. Why is this showing my other map when I'm in the model preview in a different map? Curious. Might end up doing more of these lights. They do kind of fit the environment. That fits a lot better in there. I do want it to be more towards the middle of the room is the problem. Need something on the end of it to cap it off. I'm thinking I'm actually going to use projected textures for this room. That way I can easily toggle the lights on and off without worrying about it, having two different lights in the light map. Be rotated so they don't intersect each other. Bad. Did wrap-ups become a thing of Map Labs? I suspect there are multiple. There's been more than one wrap-up. I think there's been 3 of them. But it's just a theme like any of the other themes, you know? Since people think, yeah, I won't finish this map, but there will be a wrap-up, I'll do it for that. Expected at that point. Well, I don't know. Like, I think it can be expected because maps are such a huge undertaking, and sometimes stuff gets in the way. You're not always able to finish them, so I think it is kind of expected that there's going to be some maps that will need to be in a wrap-up challenge. You know. Now, what if I had a fast head grab? Is on the ceiling. Add a spider web? Ooh, I actually really like that idea. Thank you. There's a spider web prop, or would that be? There's like the antlion webs, right? But then there's also textures for spider webs. What would those be called? Web? Yeah, okay. Kind of what I'm looking for here. Comically small antlion guard, yeah. That's the problem with doing this scale, is that it's very easy to just accidentally make things look like they're scaled down instead of making it look like you're scaled down, you know? I want to actually use textures. This is a bad idea because I could just have one light that toggles on and off. And yeah, it slows down compile times, but like, well, I don't like using lights that turn on and off because I find a lot of bugs with them the more that you use. Sometimes props will start just appearing unlit, sort of thing. Better make sure that this is casts a very wide light. A spider nest somewhere in the depths of the machine could be amusing. Yeah, I want to have baby head crabs in this machine. That's the idea, anyways. Okay. Probably should have some sounds too. Imagine if you had a nail as a melee weapon. I was thinking about that. In fact, let me look it up. Oh wait. Hold on. I found an asset that I really wanted to use, but I don't trust Game Banana skins. Um, but I found somebody made this, and I was just like, man, I wish I could use this. It would be so awesome. Look at that. But alas, not this time.
Dear me. Doctor, the...
There we go. if it's just a nail, I think you can pull it off in Blender. I would if I had time. Like honestly, we're so pressed for time. I'm not even gonna be able to submit what I have now, but I really wish I could. Because yeah, in Blender, it does seem like if I just take the rig for the crowbar and model a nail, and then make sure it attaches to the crowbar rig, it shouldn't be that hard. But it's just unfortunately not something that there's time to do. I want to have like a switch sound over here too, like it'll go like power. I put that head crab. There's a head crab around here. Here it is. So I'm gonna say it starts hanging on the ceiling. Let's try it. I probably need some nodes in this area. Let's just try it out. Let's see. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, I know that didn't work because I didn't see node graph out of date rebuilding. Check it out. Supposed to have a suit and a gravity gun. Ow. Ladders, my old nemesis. The projected textures are working. And I must have messed up the ropes as well. There we go. That was kind of janky. Rope casts a shadow. That's kind of cool. Okay, there's a few things I didn't really like about that. Oh, where's that light coming from? I think I left the point light in the map. You see a point light? Is that just crazy? Definitely a light in game. Oh, I bet it's behind this. Yeah, okay, there it is. It's hiding. Yeah, I will still have a light in here, but like an ambient light. Be pretty dark. Color that's like lights because it seemed like it was not really casting shadows. On. Uh, I really messed that up. Try that again. Hey, Gildan, welcome. I'm working on my Map Labs entry for Mega Mania. I can't wait to play Mission Revenge. I think that's going to be not next week, but the following week. If I'm able to. Really light up the environment enough. Color change here. I'm not quite sure if I understand that. Head crab go. Vanished. Are they working? Hey, up there. It's that head crab is able to move very well. Environment. Stuck. Comp is ending around May 15th. No, the comp is ending on May 11th. Like that's coming up so fast. I know it technically was like 20 days, but doesn't feel like it because I was on my vacation when it started. Not super happy with the lighting in here. Gotta think about this a little bit more. I think I do want like a that color, but just not bright. Um, these things I should make their collision out of brushes. They shouldn't actually be solid. Whole other thing I'm gonna have to do. Head crab starting on the ceiling doesn't seem to work. Waiting for Timing couldn't be worse. Yeah, I really like this theme, but I am struggling a little bit with the time this time around. There's a lot of things I just can't move in my schedule, you know? It's like I wish I could crunch and kind of focus on Map Labs, but there's other things to focus on. Crab. Pretty good. Now after this, I'm going to need to find some way to have the player progress up one more level, and I want to have an ending to the map. I don't know exactly what the ending is going to look like, but I have an idea. I want there to be a crystal inside this teleporter, and you're going to have to like reconnect it somehow. And when you do that, it's going to teleport you away. And I think it was 19T who had this idea. I was talking about the graphics for the map. They suggested, what if you went to the quantum realm like an Ant-Man? And I thought that makes perfect sense as a way out of the map and like a final a finale to send off the map. Maybe a boss fight with a spider to get the crystal to reconnect it. Yeah, that would be the alternative. Would be if we could have like an antlion guard-sized head crab. Would be a lot of fun. I like that idea too. What do you guys think this map should be called? I wonder if there's any disadvantages of that bonus period. I mean, then you can't be scored by the judges. But other than that, no. I mean, I might end up doing a bonus map. These head crabs don't seem to be able to jump effectively. Even though before when I tested it out, that wasn't a problem. I need to start them off of the ground somehow. Minimalization. I like that. Good idea, Dorky. I don't know. I'm not really happy with this section. This doesn't feel quite right. Maybe I need to give up on it being dark, because I think that this needs to be illuminated so you can see what's going on. Also, I'm a little bit let down by the head crabs not being able to jump at you. Oh, we tested for that. You know what? I know what it is. Calling set model is different from setting the key value for the model on the why that is yet. Light up this room over here. time. We're gonna need some good soundscapes for this part of the map too. Freaking metal soundscapes and stuff. We're gonna need just a lighting origin for this prop. Ooh. Okay. Feeling a little bit better about that. That was pretty cool. I think I remember someone on Source did a very impressive giant brush spider with a movement that looked very natural. Didn't look like the spider, but the movement itself was impressive. I've seen like mechs like that made out of brush geometry, and it's really impressive. I think that's actually really awesome when people can pull that off. Add another head crab. There's not enough head crabs on this map. In Minecraft? Wait, how could you make a moving spider in Minecraft? That's kind of... Okay. This is where we're at for today. I've got a little bit of time left in the stream before I got to wrap up. I think I'm going to take a quick break because I feel like I just need to get up and stretch, maybe refresh my mind a little bit before we move on to the next stage of the map. Hopefully this has been entertaining so far. I feel like this is such a atypical map design. I hope it's okay. But thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for giving me all the input and the ideas, guys, because it is really helping out. I will be right back in about, let's say, in 5 minutes. Welcome back. Thank you for waiting around. I think we only have a few more minutes left in the stream because I'm trying to end at 6. I'll probably go a little bit past 6, but I want to try to finish out this section of the map. And to do that, I want to have that scene with the crystal that we were talking about, and I want to basically just copy this part again and add another floor, and then that floor can be the finale of this part of the map. I'm still not sure exactly what the crystal is going to do, what that's going to look like. That's something I need to do some brainstorming about. We're gonna try it, see what we can do. Stream Element says that I'm live. That's not a good sign. Was I not live before? You guys are still there, right? My bitrate isn't looking too good. Stream died during the break. Oh, I hate that. It seems like it always dies whenever I go to my AFK screen. Must be an OBS thing. Stream went offline. Oh no. A lot of people probably thought I was done streaming. I could see it. I've decided I'm not gonna try to raid if I have fewer than I don't know. Like lately I've been raiding with like 4 viewers, and I don't want to raid if there's like if nobody sees the stream, you know what I mean? But it's also hard to know because Twitch doesn't always tell you how many raiders you'll have. Like sometimes I'll see I have like 5 viewers or 6 viewers, but then I actually get 2 raiders. I don't know how that works anymore. I'm missing something important. Maybe you can put something in webs for the player to open up. That's a good idea. Like hide items in headcrab webs. I like that. Oh. Don't mind the ropes. Like in episode 2. I kind of forgot about that. That was in the antlion hives in episode 2, right? I think that is a great idea. Part of the puzzle is in the webs. Let's see. Trying to keep this part of the map pretty simple just because there's a lot of complexity in this map overall, a lot of hidden complexity in the concept. So I'm trying to kind of like not overdo it on the actual mechanics of the map because just getting the gimmick to work takes a lot of time. geometry has gotten completely out of control, guys. Wait, I'm deleting the wrong things now. What have I done? Unhide that. Damages. One thing too many. That looks better. I know that was a big copy paste job, but I think it's worth it in this case because it'll save us a little bit of time. Connection between the second floor and the third floor. Maybe I can do something in here to kind of mix it up. And it said, extend some boxes and pipes and wires in the walls the player has to sort of platform over. That's actually a really good idea. Wait, hold on. Let me, I'm thinking I could do something like this, right? Throw this over here. Scale it down to like 4 times. Yeah, and then the player has to like vault over it. I actually really like that idea. Except I could probably come up with a better prop to use. I didn't really have anything in mind. This kind of works as like part of a machine. I'll put one on the other side so that you... Yeah. Yeah. Probably have to like jump over them. That sort of thing. Maybe this is where I can put those lasers. Everybody keeps asking for lasers. Don't know if it's doable with the space. Yeah. Let's see. Add a laser here. Some sort of timed electric or laser that passes between the things on the walls. That's actually a much better idea than what I was going for. I like that a lot. I'll start with this, with a fixed one, and then we can maybe add some complexity as we go along. Because I actually think I want to pause on this for a second, and then work on the ending first, and then come back to it. Just spitting out ideas to see what sticks. No, I appreciate it. Because that helps me, especially when I'm struggling with concepts like with this challenge. Helpful to have ideas. But yeah, I guess it is worth noting that I can't always action them just because of all the particulars of whatever happens to be going on. You know, a lot of ideas aren't viable. That doesn't mean they're not valid. Make it zap you if you touch the laser. How much damage? Not a lot of damage. Want to kill the player with something like that because that would be annoying. Throwing them out to help out. Appreciate it, Meneth. Why the lighting preview isn't working. Maybe it's because the map isn't sealed. That would explain it. We're gonna leave that for now. Head upstairs. Now I have to design the final scene with the crystal. Conveniently, this fits right about in that space. So I could even have it... Wait a minute. I know what I want. Oh, but the crystal must already be in the machine, otherwise the teleporter wouldn't have worked in the first place. Yeah, so I won't bother making it like move on a track or anything. Thought about doing that, but no, it's not necessary. It's so perfectly in this room. Mine to go there. Oh, okay. I didn't think this far in advance. What should actually happen when the player encounters this crystal? You push a button? There wouldn't be buttons to your scale, right? Because you're tiny. Clearly, I didn't think this through. player actually do in this situation? Move it from one holder to another to recalibrate it. Ooh. Wait. That's a really good idea. Okay. Okay, wait. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm not going to be able to use the same holder model in the other position, because that will block the player from entering the space. Why do I make things so difficult for myself? It's May now. I know. I can't believe it either. Put them above each other? Oh, that's such a good idea. Wait. Make it vertical. Yeah. I'll start by extending the space upwards. What's the length of the path of travel of this crystal? Like, it's basically 840 some units. Wait. 24 minus 128 is 96. Good. Let's say 832 units. That sounds about right. How big is that? 140. Okay. I'm kind of eyeballing it at this point. $888. Oh, that works. If I take this entire apparatus here and I rotate it along this axis. Okay. Okay, we're cooking. Idle closed. Okay. If I have this one in the idle closed animation, right? If I make that the default animation. Closed. And I'm going to duplicate this. Here. This holder's crystal will be out of bounds, so you can't see it. It's gonna look like, oh, except the things are retracted. And okay. Ah. I want it to look like that. If I made a copy of the model and just removed the mesh, that would be one way to do it, but I don't really want to open Blender right now. Okay. I think one will start deployed. And then we're just going to have it snap the animation to the open position. Hopefully players don't notice. That's what I'm hoping for right now. Time it with a flash and move one crystal up and one downwards. But there's no moving the crystal up animation. That's just kind of silly. I could maybe play the animation backwards. I don't know if it really lets you do that. But, what I could do is maybe if I can hide this part or make it less obvious, when you start this, it'll snap this one to the animation where they're open. Like that. That gets rid of the copy of the crystal, and then if you happen to look up, you'll just see the crystal moving. I should also make like a rail that it's on. It should be on like a track. Also, I wonder how is the player going to manipulate this? Because there wouldn't be buttons at this scale, right? Thing I haven't really thought of a solution for yet. Can't you freeze the frame and properties of prop dynamic? Can you? I've never done that before. Actually, that's a good question. Let me check that in a second. I like that idea. Be some plug you can put in different slots, like the ones downstairs, but smaller. That could work. I want to kind of work with things at a large scale if possible to fit in with the gimmick. Metal texture that was the Raising the Bar Salvation soundtrack. What are we listening to now? There's the soundtrack I really want to put on, but I don't know if it's copyright, if it would be copyright struck, so I'm gonna skip that one. You guys think it's safe to just do like random video game soundtracks? Like if I did the Resident Evil remake soundtrack, that get copyright struck? I don't think it would. I've never really, I've only ever considered doing mod soundtracks, not game soundtracks. I get a mix of yours and Ender Lily's more eerie stuff, which makes a funky combo. That does sound funky. I personally, I can't stand it if two different songs are playing at the same time and they're not synced up. That drives me crazy. We're gonna try the Resident Evil soundtrack. This is from Resident Evil HD. I think if it's licensed like music, then it would get copyright struck. Curious if this will get copyright struck. Well, we'll do a little experiment. What's the worst thing that can happen? It should be okay if it's made by developers. Yeah, usually video game music is safe. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for as far as a rail goes. It's pretty basic, but I could make that a lot more elaborate. You don't want to use like this texture because that implies scale. Like we know how big these screws are. We know how big the beams are. Like that's like a standardized scale. I want the player to feel like they're small. I should probably use more like detail metal textures like this. Ooh, that one's too funky. I'm not sure how it'll work with something like Silent Hill music. Yeah, this is Resident Evil, but I don't know either. There's no good textures that would like not give an impression of scale. You know what I mean? You gotta remember the screws come in many sizes. Yeah, but they wouldn't come in like microscopic sizes. That's the thing. Maybe a more generic metal texture like this one would be better. It is supposed to be like low detail, although it kind of just makes it look worse. I don't know. We'll roll with that for now. So I'm gonna make a relay. Relay. Transfer crystal. Crystal transfer relay. This gets fired. We're gonna take oh, I didn't name those yet. So holder primary prop. Secondary. Okay, so when this relay fires, we're gonna tell the primary holder to set its default animation to what was it called, like idle idle deployed, idle closed, yeah, idle closed. At the same time, we're gonna set the animation secondary to deploy. So even though these arms will snap open like this, this one should play the animation very naturally. The crystal will kind of descend down the rail, and then it will lock in place. I should have a sound for it moving. Be a looping sound. Move. That's kind of loud. I don't like this one. Sound crystal move. Sound loop. Does. It can. Away from right there. Down. Maybe I can have the crystal holder itself when an animation finishes, then it stops the sound. I don't know. I'm just going to time it. Actually, I don't trust that. I will say it takes about 1 second. This is Free From Fear from Resident Evil 3. I think this is the original, not the remake. But if it is the remake, then that might be copyright. We'll find out. Extend this wall. How does the player actuate this thing? Clearly, I didn't think this through. Can't use the gravity gun because it's an animation. It's not physics-based. Can't use a button because buttons would be huge. I know, Meneth, you said that there should be a socket puzzle, but I don't... Like, we just did a socket puzzle. There's got to be something else. Maybe it is just a socket puzzle. Web puzzle? How would a web move the thing? Move the... Maybe it's like something's blocked and you need to like move it out of the way. Okay. I hear you. Yeah, you need to remove the web. How do we remove the web with just the gravity gun? Something to launch with it. I'm working on Mission Home Invasion Remake since I got tired of the way I made it originally. That'll be cool. I'd like to play that on stream too after I first finish Mission Revenge. Gotta play that. And remember, we can't really burn anything either because we don't have, like, we can't like throw gas cans or throw explosive barrels. They would be huge. Man, actually kind of tricky. Punt the gravity gun, punt something at it. That maybe, because I think you can punt dynamic props. Can you punt dynamic props? There's a way to make it so that you can. Yeah, I like the idea of an invisible prop breakable. My problem is, how will the player know that that's what they're supposed to do? You know? How will they know that they have to get this from here to here? I played Mission Home Invasion after realizing it exists as the first installment of the trilogy series, and it needs a remake. I kind of thought of Home Invasion as being a separate story from Terminate Calhoun. Do they connect to each other? Okay, so if I was to use this web again, right? We like webs. Webs are creepy. Can this get punted? Hi, Jingle Bell Man, welcome. We're working on a Map Labs. It's a mapping challenge for Half-Life 2 with a limited amount of time for entrants to make a map with a theme. Welcome in. Wait, CJ Guts is raiding. Oh, I didn't see a raid notification. Hi, CJ. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. It's good to see you again. Welcome in. Make sure that you get water and food, and if you have to raid and run, I completely understand. I know how it is. I'll be doing that myself pretty soon. But it's good to see you. Hope your streams have been doing well. How come did you guys see a raid notification? Because I didn't see anything. I don't know if it's behind or maybe Stream Elements isn't working right now. Huh. I'm really sorry that there's no raid notification, CJ. Appreciate the raid. Just saw a single message in the chat. Yeah, me too. Usually Stream Elements has a whole... You know, we'll say... I think it might have to do with the connection issues I had earlier, because my stream was stopping. Welcome in, Raiders. We're struggling with level design, because we're making a map where you're trying to fix a teleporter, and you've shrunk yourself to a size where you can fit inside the teleporter. But now I don't know how the player is gonna solve some kind of puzzle to move this crystal from here to down here. I can't just put a button because the button would be too big. Chat was suggesting this should be blocked by something, and then you use the gravity gun to throw something at it. I really like that idea, but I'm just wondering, like, how do I get the player to know that that's what they have to do? You should use a web texture. Okay, because then I can use a breakable on it. That's a great idea, actually. Wait, so let me grab one of those web textures. Web. Yeah, like this one. That's perfect. Web's blocking the entrance. But there won't be anything to punt because you don't have a lot of clearance in this area. Player can't enter without punting the web. I do like that idea. Maybe I'll be able to fit a little thingy in here somehow. Like, okay, so let's do it down here. If I put some web here, right? Web. Oh, that looks kind of nasty. Ignoring that, let's just do... Actually, I think I should put it on one face. Draw, web. Web. Go. So maybe I just extend this out to wherever it brush. Here-ish. Here-ish. This looks kind of, I don't know. I'm not sold on this, but let's take it for a spin. Let's try it. Can you make a funk breakable break on punt? Break immediately on physics? What if I made it a fizz box? Okay. And I made it motion disabled. And I gave it strength of 1. Not make it out of glass, because that would be weird. Make it out of flesh? It's kind of weird. So far, I kind of like this. Let's say maybe we'll make something that the player can throw at it, right? Wrench. Wrench. I'm gonna say that the wrench is 16 times scale. That's a big wrench. That's might be too big. What if we did an 8 times scale wrench? I know I'm playing fast and loose with the scales here, but I think that will work. I'm still a bit skeptical, but rolling with this for now. Say, rotate this. How did they make those in episode 2? Oh, those are props, for sure. This bolt or a nut. Ooh, that's a really good idea. I don't think I have any props for that. I'd really like to do it that way. Not the prop ones, but the ones blocking tunnels. I'm pretty sure that's a prop where you hit it with the crowbar and it will like open, right? It's like an animation. It plays an animation when you hit it. I think that's how they did it, but I could be wrong. That looks so bad. What am I doing? It's just a square. No, maybe I could make it work by having like metal stuff on the side. Like giant enemy square web. Chronologically, the whole mission series doesn't follow the original timeline since home invasion didn't happen during the uprising. Oh, that's interesting. Nick Calhoun was supposed to be during Ashes. I didn't know that either. This is Resident Evil Code Veronica. Interesting. I haven't played that one. I don't like this. We're gonna run with it though for now. We're gonna see where this goes. A net that covers the entire roof and have head crabs that fall when you break it. That's such a good idea. I actually really like that. What's that green prop? I've never seen it before. It's the crystal holder from Eli's lab. Actually, I kind of agree about the web covering everything. That sounds kind of cool. I'll at least make it extend. Yeah, no, this is gonna be... Hey, Bogey, welcome back. I'm gonna need to quit stream really soon because I have to clean my whole house and running out of time. But I want to finish this because I'm really enjoying this right now. We're making good progress, I feel like. See how this looks. What leaked? I bet I know it leaked. Pink ceiling. Would it be possible for one last compile before the stream goes, mayhaps? Oh, absolutely. I'd like to play through everything. I like that idea. The texture web on the floors and ceilings is made with displacements, but not the ones that you can break. Because displacements are never breakable. helper of a brush that's leaking.
Greetings.
Ah, that was really loud. Hi, Spike Shark Gaming. Welcome in. How was your stream? I saw you were streaming Easy 2 earlier, and I was interested in that. Ah, I see what happened here. Okay. You ever just give up on leaks like that? Oh, that didn't work. Where is it? Where's the leak? Rest in peace, displacement morphing. Could have been useful for horror maps. I agree. Yeah. Oh, I see. This prop has like a really weird bounding box. Okay, I get it now. Serious? What? What is this leak? Oh, okay. Most diabolical leak. Oh no. We've gotten, see, I let my geometry get a little too messy, and now we've gotten into source engine hell. Now it's just leaks. Always leaks. This is why you should use clean geometry and not make maps that look like this map. For some reason, Automod didn't like the word leak, which I'm really confused how that would be a bad thing. Like, leak spelled like that. That's weird. My ropes go. Oh, okay. Ignore that. Ah. I don't know where my comically oversized wrench went. Or why are there so many head crabs? That didn't work so great. My comically oversized wrench, it failed me. For one thing, this output should only trigger once. That was probably what happened. This thing isn't breaking. Let's try it again. Can I make it break on physics? Immediately on physics? I don't know about break immediately on physics. I'll make it a breakable. Cool. Immediately on physics. Let's try that. Also, I need some things to throw. Part of the map. Yeah, I don't know what Automod is thinking right now. put that wrench? Can't really see anything with this lighting. Looking good? I don't like the head crabs. Yeah, at this scale, they're really freaky. Okay. The physics interactions are kind of awkward with scaled up props. I'm probably going to need to use fizz boxes for all of the props that I scale. Because it does this thing where it wants to hold the prop at a distance that's scaled by the same amount as the prop is scaled. Comically large wrench. Need some RGB gamer lighting. Yeah. Okay, that didn't work. I need to tweak the settings on that. The whole idea would be to throw this up at the web. But for now, we'll say... There we go. That didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. It was close. Okay, if I do int fire crystal holder primary prop, the default animation, idle closed. Maybe set animation. Or why that doesn't work. This one worked, okay. Huh. Yeah, guys, I'm afraid I'm out of time. I was supposed to wrap about 37 minutes ago. But let's do one more compile and just a quick run through of everything. This part of the map is very janky. But I think overall the structure is coming together pretty well, even though I'm not feeling the most stable about this map. Turn off the Resident Evil music for now. Okay, let's run through the whole thing to show where we're at. I'll switch to game view. Pull some cube maps on this one. Okay. Oh, that's fine. That was in no clip mode. Better. Probably be some music in this scene. Would be good with some ambient tracks from Half-Life 2, like Kleiner's Lab music or something like that.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc. This is gonna be really funny once I have dialogue in. That sound effect always cracks me up. Okay, so there's gonna be dialogue here. Talking about how we need to fix the teleporter. But when we use the teleporter, it's gonna make us smaller, and then we're gonna not be able to use firearms. They put your guns in the box. We put our guns in the box. Oop. Okay. Our suit. There's gonna be some dialogue about that, probably. Did I say something before the ads? Probably I was just saying, are there ads right now? Yes, there are ads right now. My bad. Bad timing on my part because I'm running through the map. Now we have our teleporter. I should wait for the ads. Break from the ads. Ad break ends in 40 seconds. We already saw the ads. That's good. I'm seeing that there's still an ad break until 20 seconds. I couldn't stop laughing like right now at the possibility she'll sound like a chipmunk. I wondered about that. Like, should I do that? Like, I could. I could do that and it would be really funny. But I don't know if I will or not. I'm thinking about it. Okay, the ads should be wrapping up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the gravity gun. Our companion would have exposited a little bit about that. Definitely should. Maybe it'll be subtle. Maybe like a slight chipmunk effect. If not, it's fine. We'll see. We might do a slight chipmunk. Rodent Girl followed 3 minutes ago. Hi, Rodent Girl. Welcome. That's your new Twitch, right? So climb over here. Hello. I'm just wrapping up the stream right now. Won't be too much longer. Right now I'm just going through what I have so far for the map. And then I'll probably wrap up the stream and raid out. Oh, we got the computer out of the way. We're gonna go get our gravity gun right here. Sound was the PC hitting the floor. That's kind of funny. Got our gravity gun. We got to go back. I really need to work on the hitboxes in this section because this is just really janky and awkward. Ideally, it should be pretty easy to navigate around like this. Going to sleep. Good night, everyone. Good night, Spec Shark Gaming. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Boom. Get a sound effect for that. So now we're gonna get some dialogue, theoretically, about going into the teleporter to try to fix it. I've got to set up a path to that teleporter. Here. Look. Get all this stuff out of the way. Okay. Oh, the doctor's being attacked by head crabs. Oh, I see it very well from this angle. Ooh. This is awkward. I didn't realize that the tables were set up like that. Surprised I haven't been soft locked yet. collisions are really rough on this mini teleporter. That's something I need to spend time working on because it doesn't work in its current state. It's just like too awkward. All these invisible walls and stuff. I'm gonna cheat. No clip to get up there. So. Go ahead and move this table a little bit. You actually scale the player? No. I actually move the player into a different region of the map, and this part of the map is the skybox. That was my little hack to get this to work. Maybe I should have just scaled the player. Perhaps. Maybe that would have worked better. I need to make a bridge. Jeez. To climb up on. This. The player just gonna die if they fall off the table? Yes, you will just die if you fall off the table. I can't get up on that. This is harder than I thought it would be. I need to work on having more of a variety of sizes of props to use. The player doesn't have to go back and forth. Okay, I'm dead. Oh man, I didn't add autosaves yet either. Do that real quick. I know I don't have any more time for stream, but let me just quickly try to run through this. I want to put something for if they fall off the table. Like what? I mean, maybe it teleports you back. That could be nicer than making you load a save. I can see that.
Hello, Dr. Freeman.
Hello, Dr. Freeman. Now, the main character is not actually going to be Gordon Freeman. I haven't really given them a name, but they're going to be some other character. I don't know, chat, what is the main character's name in this map? Ignore the fact that she's walking on the floor. This map has a lot of problems right now. We have a long wire that hangs down so you can climb back up. That's a really good idea, but I don't want the player to be able to run around on the floor. I think once you get on the floor, it'd be easy to break the map or get soft locked somehow. Problem that I have. Eric Warper. I like that. Eric Warper. No clip because we don't have time to wait around. Dr. Warper. Somebody write down Eric Warper. That's going to be canon now. Ah. Finest mind of our generation. Exactly. Oh, that'll make it easy. Okay. Like she's ignoring the head crab. That doesn't seem right. Oh. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'm gonna ignore that for now. Another bug to put on my bug board. So now we get into the structure. This is the part we worked on today. Okay, so now we're in the structure. Tragedy, yeah. I think maybe she, like, her NPC stopped thinking because she was out of, call it, potentially visible set, PVS. That's something I can probably fix. Hey, Crispy Cuda. Welcome. We're gonna wrap up stream pretty shortly here, but I'm just showing my progress on this map. This is sick. Is it? I appreciate you saying that. This map is a little bit of a mess, but it's, you know, it's our mess. For some reason, the punt isn't working very well on this head crab. There we go. Need more props to throw at the head crab. Somehow I inadvertently broke the web. Not good. This combat will be more satisfying when the physics works on the things that I want to pick up. Throw this up there. Didn't work. Throw that. Okay, no. I'm gonna cheat for now. Break that. The crystal descends. Then we'll have some kind of a scene where the crystal activates and then you get teleported away. And hopefully I can have one little scene at the end. That'll be our outro. I think that's about what the scope of the map is going to be. See, it looks like you can only punt at its original scale. I think what was actually happening with the head crabs... Also, hi Sam, welcome. I think what was happening with the head crabs is that the punt target was their hull size. The hull size... Oh, excuse me, sorry. I had to sneeze. Their hull size doesn't change when the model changes. So I think that's how it was figuring out where the punt goes and why I was missing all those punts. Might also be the metal bars, make it so that you don't hit the web. I think I had a direct hit. I think I just set up the properties on the web wrong. That's okay. That's something I can fix pretty easily. Yeah, that's the current state of the map. It's got some issues for me to work on, as well as just getting the content in. Getting the voice acting in is going to be really tough. I still don't know how I'm going to get the voice acting recorded. I don't have a script yet. I have a vague impression of what the script will be. So there's a lot to do, but I'm hoping within a week I can make some good progress, and the final stream for this will be next Saturday. I might do a stream on Thursday as well. I'm not sure yet, but next week Saturday I want to stream the conclusion of this map, and then I can submit the map for the deadline on Sunday. That's my goal. But if things go poorly, I might instead still do the stream, still work on the map, and then submit it for the bonus deadline after that. Yeah, I went a little bit over time. I got carried away, you know. When you're mapping, you get into kind of a flow state. But let's see if about raiding another Twitch channel before we wrap up for today. Let's see who is online today. Ooh, okay, there's a few good contenders. We're gonna raid the same person we've been raiding. We're gonna raid Sniffy Leaf. He's playing a game called The Convenience Store, I think. Called convenience store. Yeah. So give Sniffy Leaf your best, and we're gonna watch some funny horror gameplay to wind down after that Map Labs. Worth it? Yeah. I'm sure we'll be talking about the map later on tonight. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining me. I'll see you guys later. Good luck on your own entries for those who are entering in Map Labs, and thanks so much for your input and for following me along on this, because it really makes a difference, and can't wait to show you what the finished map looks like. But yeah, guess that'll wrap up for today. Have a good Saturday, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time when I sleep. Sorry, Meneth. See you next time, guys.